Good morning. It's June 7th. 6767? You all know that one? And welcome to the weekly multi-platform service of Tri-County Unitarian Universalists, based in Summerfield, Florida. We acknowledge that we occupy the ancestral, traditional, and temporary lands of the indigenous Florida peoples. I am Nancy Garrison, today's service leader. And we're glad to have our minister, the Reverend Kristina Spaude, leading worship today. Hello to our members and friends, and a special welcome to those who might be visiting here for the first time. Unitarian Universalists are united not by a creed of shared beliefs, but by a covenant of shared values. We celebrate that we do not need to think alike to love alike. It is our respect and encouragement of each other's diversity of thought that truly binds us together. For the curious and for the seekers, Unitarian Universalist values and covenant may be found on your order of service and at our website, triuu.org. Our newsletter can also be found there under News and Events. We have announcements, but first, please mute your phone or place it in airplane mode. Thank you. Please mark your calendar. The last forum until fall is this Thursday, June 11th, and will feature the esteemed international law scholar, Dr. Mark Welton. He will speak on the timely topic of Iran, current crisis, and future prospects. The 4 p.m. forum will be followed by a potluck dinner for all. Next Sunday, June 14th, the Committee for the First Amendment will be hosting Rise Up, Sing Out, a concert for the First Amendment, an uplifting evening of song, solidarity, and action, featuring an all-star lineup of performers, including Jane Fonda, Julia Roberts, Bette Midler, Patti Smith, and others. This 90-minute concert event will celebrate the freedoms guaranteed by our First Amendment and the people power that both fuels these rights and is essential to guarantee them. This aligns wonderfully with our UU values. We will have a watch party here for our Tri-U family and friends. We'll meet at 6:30 p.m. and the live stream starts at 7. Join us, bring your own beverage, and let's celebrate our First Amendment together. There are flyers in your order of service. Please contact Helene if you have any questions. This concludes our announcements, and as we now begin the service proper, we will recite our vision statement. Please join with your voice as we recite together. We will be an influential voice for progressive religious values in a diverse community. Our chalice keeper today is Eileen McCabe. We invite those of you joining us on Zoom to light your chalice at home.
As we light the chalice, hear these words. Flourishing goes beyond happiness or satisfaction with life. True, people who flourish are happy, but that's not the half of it. Beyond feeling good, you must add value to the world through connecting with others, sharing your talents, and respecting each other's differences.
Our opening words this morning come from Otto O'Connor. This is On a Holy Night in 1969. On a holy night in 1969, in an inn, also known as a bar, called the Stonewall Inn, a basement which had no running water nor safe fire exits, queer people of many colors and kinds danced together, for it was the only place where they were allowed to dance, at least permitted to, by the mafia who ran the inn. In those days, it was common for the police to frequent this inn, not to join in the dance, the underground celebration, but to send the dancers home and make arrests. When they would arrive, the lights would go on, the people would be lined up, and then all those in drag, all those who were trans, all those without proper identification, they were arrested and taken into custody. But on this holy night, that early morning of June 28th, the people said, "Not tonight." As they called to line them up, the trans women refused to go. And as the police began to beat and arrest them, and as the people spilled out from the bar onto the street, Christopher Street, a crowd grew to watch. And then trans women, lesbians, and gay men were getting arrested. A yell came from the crowd, "Gay power." And as a trans woman was shoved, she shoved back, and the crowd began throwing bottles at the wagon, and suddenly it erupted. For once, the people didn't line up. For once, the people said, "No more. We've had enough." It was almost as if that night, being pulled out of the darkness of the underground at the Stonewall Inn, one too many times, they said, "I'm ready to be seen." On this holy night, when the power of the oppressed rippled through the streets of New York, when queer people said, "No more," our world would never be the same. 50 plus years ago, it was illegal to be gay, to be trans, to dance and to love and to celebrate. And now, only 50 some years later, here we are celebrating at church. Gay and straight together, queer and straight together, trans and cis together, all in this together. And so as we hear these stories of life and love and defiance and celebration, let us also remember and pay tribute to our movement ancestors, many of them trans women of color who led the first rebellion that night. You see, Pride is a celebration of that anniversary, the anniversary of that riot at the Stonewall Inn in New York City, a holy night. So happy Pride. Welcome to this joyful celebration. Bring your whole selves, your gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer selves, your drag queen, butch and femme, cross-dressing, nail-painting, tutu-wearing selves, your genderqueer, gender-fluid, agender, pansexual, quilt bag selves, and all the other identities that are and will be, and let's have a celebration, because joy is a rebellion too, and this church is queer, queer and fabulous. Amen? Amen. Let us begin. Come, let us worship together. Please rise and lift your voice in song with me for our opening hymn, Here We Have Gathered. Our story this morning is Julian is a Mermaid, written and illustrated by Jessica Love. This is a boy named Julian, and this is his abuela. And those are some mermaids. No, maybe? No. Julian loves mermaids. This artwork shows Julian's transformation from reading a book on his lap to stripping down to his underwear as he begins to feel more himself in the water. When Julian is showing swimming in a big school of fish, jellyfish, large fish, an octopus, and a stingray in a big whoosh-like motion. And Julian has a tail of lavender with an orange fin. He greets a very large fish holding a coral necklace in their mouth. Julian is still on the bus. Vámonos, mijo. This is our stop, his abuela says. The mermaids wave him goodbye. There are girls playing in swim clothes in a fire hydrant that's bursting with water as Julian and his abuela walk by. Abuela, did you see the mermaids? I saw them, mijo. Abuela, I am also a mermaid. I'm going to take a bath. You be good. Julian has a good idea, and he strips down to his underpants. Then he pulls some fern fronds and arranges them on his head. He takes some flowers and weaves them into the piece. Then he begins to put on makeup. Julian notices the curtain blowing in the breeze. He takes it down and wraps it around his waist. Abuela comes out and says, "Oh," when she sees him. She walks away, and Julian thinks, uh-oh. Julian admires his makeshift mermaid outfit and looks at himself in the mirror. Come here, mijo, Abuela says when she returns. She holds out a light orange necklace. For me, Abuela. For you, Julian. He puts it on, and they head out for a walk. Where are we going? You'll see, says Abuela. Mermaids, whispers Julian. Like you, mijo. Let's join them. And they do. Now, as we move deeper into our service, let us turn inward to consider transitions, the joys, sorrows, and concerns that we all experience in our life's journeys. Before we turn to our ritual, I want to share that Amanda McWilliams recently participated in a ceremony called Taking Refuge with White Sands Buddhist Center in MIMS. Taking refuge is a commitment to engage in sincere Buddhist practice and uphold the 5 vows for ethical behavior. Please celebrate this journey with her. And now there are 3 bowls of stones of different colors representing the gratitude of joy, the grief of sorrow, and whatever feeling you're having related to your concerns. After those present have placed stones in the water, our ushers will place stones from each of the bowls in the water on behalf of those who are not present in the church and those who have chosen not to or who are unable to come forward. Those online are invited to type into the chat to express what is on your heart. When all the stones have been mingled in the water, we will take a moment for silent meditation or prayer. You may now come forward. Let us take a moment to reflect on our own joys, concerns, and sorrows, and those of others in this beloved community. The chimes will bring us back into this space, and we will sing our responsive hymn, Find a Stillness, for which you may remain seated.
We will now receive our offering. If you are visiting us for the first time, please do not feel obligated to give. You are our guests, and we are happy to have you here with us today. This is a time in our service when those who wish to make some monetary contribution to our congregation's vision and mission give to support this community and its outreach. I invite the ushers to come forward.
A reading before the sermon. I'm going to try not to cry. This is We Are Pulse by Misha Sanders. The hashtag says we are pulse, and some of us feel our life force in the beating of our own pulse, and our straight privilege or our white privilege, and we say, not exactly, but we are with pulse, so we'll hashtag that too. We are pulse, and we are with pulse, and we have pulse, and together, here we rise. Beloved queer siblings who said, we are pulse, or we are with pulse, or we have pulse, but the banks will not take our blood, though our hearts cry to help. We are pulse, we are pulse. Beloved Muslim siblings who said, we are pulse, or we are with pulse, or we have pulse, and we will wait with you in long, hot lines to give our own blood without breaking our fast of Ramadan, no matter how tired, our pulse, our pulse. Beloved Latinx siblings who said, we are pulse, or we are with pulse, or we have pulse. And fear never ever caused us to cease our dancing to our rhythms, our beats, the pulse, the pulse. Beloved Black siblings who said, we are pulse, or we are with pulse, or we have pulse. And today, on behalf of Mother Emmanuel and her children, we rise with you and say, enough, enough. And we pulse, we pulse. We pulse together today for all the fallen beloved believers in life and love and laughter who just wanted to dance until dawn, or until the blood pulsed endorphin energy through their beautiful brown bodies, until they had had their fill. It is not enough that we rise. We do not want to rise, because so many who belong with us are gone. Yet rise we have, and rise we will, because we remain, and we see the pulse in each other, and our hearts pulse hope, and hope is everything. Just as long as we have pulse, we are with pulse, we are pulse. Whew, I never make it. June 12th, 2016, 10 years ago, was supposed to be a joyfully bittersweet day for me. We were celebrating the end of my internship with my teaching congregation, celebrating the things and ways we all had learned and grown in our time together. I don't remember when I first read the news about the Pulse shootings that morning, but it was before I made the trek there. At first, it was a shooting at a nightclub, the kind we've gotten somewhat used to hearing about living in America. Stories began emerging about the terror of the people who tried to escape, who were able to escape, of the people inside making final calls to loved ones. Some of them hid in restrooms. Those who could fled for their lives. Stories began emerging that it was a gay bar, and there were many Latin folks who were there that night, the numbers of dead rising. Eventually, the news broke that it was Latin night at the bar. 2 well-known Latin trans and drag performers were featured on stage that night. Watching my Facebook feed and my white queer friends saying, this is us, when will it end? And browner queer friends later. This club was targeted on this night not only to kill as many people as possible, but to kill brown queer folks specifically. The complexities were so real. This has been the experience of queer people for generations, and the LGBTQIA+ community is not immune from racism. It was the first time I really had a glimpse into what it might be like to have a loved one there, to feel panic and terror. My best friend is Latin, queer, and disabled. They could have been there that night. Then there were the names being released of those who had died. There was fear that some of them were being outed to family for the first time, and that some had been undocumented. It was, at the time, the deadliest mass shooting in modern US history, and remains the single deadliest attack on the LGBTQIA community in US history. Our Muslim kins and neighbors suffered mightily through this too, and I want to name that. Though the murderer was Muslim, we know that this was an exception, and yet our country is regularly primed to turn against Muslims in times of fear and violence. The lines of the queer folks, gay men especially, lining up to donate blood, knowing that for reasons no one can fathom anymore, reasons that emerged and were instituted during the AIDS epidemic due to homophobia and not science, they knew they'd be unable to. The echoes of that earlier time were present with them as they waited to be turned away, when the government chose condemnation instead of support, as they lay wasting away on beds for days, when family, who had already turned away from them, slammed their doors shut, even knowing it would be for the last time. Lesbian women showed up then, as they have always, despite pushback from gay men who wanted to be the only faces and voices at the front of the movement, and from other queer women and people who felt they were abandoning their own cause. But they showed up and worked tirelessly for their friends and beloveds, offering comfort and care to gay and bi men with HIV and AIDS. If you've ever wondered why the L most often begins LGBTQIA+, it's a nod to the lesbians who gave everything they could for their queer kin during those many years of crisis in their community. But the men had to show up in those lines in Orlando. It was their way of having some power, some community, some way to gather and mourn, as they had for generations on generations before. A daytime vigil for the dozens killed that night, made possible by the same ugly homophobia that killed thousands of people as the government mocked those who became infected with HIV and died. That was back before the LGBTQIA+ community felt more confident being public, before the privileges bestowed by marriage equality and broader social acceptance. It has only been more recently that queer folks started to think that those private, underground communities that had sustained them for so long might no longer be necessary. That night in 2016 impacted me deeply, impacted my understanding of gay and queer culture and history in new ways, gave me more insight into the stories of so many people I love. For example, if you look at the pictures that are available of those who were killed, many of them are selfies. It was the first mass event where selfies were the best and most candid pictures available for the victims. It was probably the first time that people were able to name and honor that, at least for some of them, selfies were when they could feel most completely themselves. And I remember how beautiful they were. So many young people, so many of the pictures released were the best of them, taken when they were joyful and happy, coy or playful, full of life, proud and whole. The way they demanded the world see them exactly as they were, no more, no less. Their lives were pulsing that night in that nightclub as they danced and celebrated. People of different ages and relationships, a mother was there with her son, siblings were there together, partners and friends, of course, too. Men, women, people of other genders, gay, straight, bi or pan or ace, mostly brown or black, or at least the dead were. On vacations, celebrating birthdays and other events, some showing their skills as dancers, so much joy in that building, a safe place where they could all be free. It was a sanctuary from a harsh world where they were not fully accepted. Students, executives, hairstylists, dancers, medical professionals, people came from all different backgrounds. That's one of the reasons Pulse was so popular as a nightclub. It was an inclusive space where all were welcome. The LGBTQIA+ community and others have experienced hardships in this state, increasingly over the last few years. There have been victories on rollbacks of rights, but that has made the state's actions more painful. The Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, was ordered to paint over the rainbow crosswalk next to the Pulse Memorial site last year, along with all others throughout the state. The rainbow sidewalk was originally installed by the state as a memorial tribute in 2017. The state has now also legislated against local governments supporting DEI efforts, and we are witnessing some local governments canceling their annual Pride Month proclamations. Perhaps they are hoping we will all just admit defeat and return to our closets. What they don't know is how spectacular those closets were and remain. They may try to erase us from the public, but they can never take the pride from our hearts. We will always find a way to celebrate and resist, as we always have. There has never been a time when queer people didn't exist, and there never will be. I've seen a lot more, why do we need to have Pride Month, and similar comments on social media, and I miss my bubble. There's so much hatred in the world, and my heart aches for those who are taught in their churches to hate their neighbors and pass judgment on others. We as a church have been on the receiving end of this recently with regard to our upcoming showing of Gaza is Our Home. The Facebook post about it blew up, and there has been at least one plea that has resulted in some calls and emails, although we haven't received any in a couple days, that have been hostile and just mean about it. Cindy asked me what we should do. I replied that I strongly believe in don't feed the trolls as a policy. For me, doing so is a bit akin to breaking the rules of caring for a mogwai, if you remember Gremlins. We here are people who celebrate diversity and thought and love, quotes attributed to Francis David be damned. I've said before that I believe our call is to love people who think and love differently than we do. We can practice this by stretching ourselves to hear others' stories. I shared a quote in my last service from Krista Tippett from her book, Becoming Wise, an inquiry into the mystery and art of living. She writes, I can disagree with your opinion, it turns out, but I can't disagree with your experience. And once I have a sense of your experience, you and I are in relationship, acknowledging the complexity of each other's position, listening less guardedly. The difference in our opinions will probably remain intact, but it no longer defines what is possible between us. In this place, we want to learn from each other and others about their experience because it honors all of our humanity to do so. It is a sacred task and the most important work we can do. We witness to each other in our struggles, our pains, our hurts, our celebrations, our joys, our strengths. None of us can be free until we are all free. So long as barriers exist and are used to vilify and keep us from one another, we all remain trapped in a system that begs us to align with good or bad, whole or broken, better or less than, and on and on. May we resist the binaries and take a page from Pride and celebrate the spectrums. We don't need the state to honor those who died and the many who still live and fight for their lives daily. We never have. This space is a sanctuary. May we make it a space safe for those on the margins, because then it can be safe for all of us. May we honor the lives lost and remember them by dancing fully and often and by being ourselves. May we try more pride and skip the prejudice. And may those of us who have the ability to do so continue to advocate for freedom and justice, that we may all be able to dance without fear ever again, because joy is a rebellion too. Please rise and lift your voice in song with me for our closing hymn, The Fire of Commitment.
Spirits to face.
Eileen McCabe will now read our chalice extinguishing message.
As we extinguish the chalice, hear these words. As we share our time, treasures, and talent, rooted in love, strengthened by service, and guided by hope to flourish together.
I invite anyone who has just begun to visit with us and who wishes to do so to introduce themselves. Please raise your hand and an usher will bring a microphone to you. Please speak directly into the top of the microphone so we can hear you better. Nobody today. Anybody online? No. If you would like to receive regular communications on upcoming Tri-U events, please fill out a guest card, which will be available at the door after the service. On August 11th, there will be a class for those wanting to know more about Tri-U. Please sign up at the table in the back of the room, right there. We are interested to hear how you experienced this hybrid worship service and/or what you took away from the sermon. For those who are on Zoom, raise your hand to speak or type your comment in the chat box. For those here in the chalice room, please raise your hand. If there is time, Reverend Kristina or I will call on you. Please share your name and speak directly into the top of the microphone so we can hear you better. If you wish to be seen on the monitors and by those who are attending via Zoom, please stand directly in front of the pulpit. Please keep comments brief and on topic. No announcements, please.
Is someone on Zoom?
Online?
It's Patrick. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say that, or share with I just wanted to share with the group that, I always get a positive boost from these services. And right now I'm doing a service commitment, a year-long service commitment in a 12-step fellowship. That ends for me in the December-January timeframe. So I'm hoping maybe I can do more, next year. Maybe this is an early New Year's resolution or something. I don't know. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah, thank you, Patrick.
Thank you. We should do Pride resolutions.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I know, it was a heavy service.
Everybody's in shock. Huh? Joyce?
Thank you, Reverend Kristina. I appreciate the recognition of Pulse. The Orlando community has for many years been very, very supportive of the LGBTQ, etc. And so it's really good to see news programs about that. I know Tampa and St. Pete also do programs. But it's good to see that these communities celebrate all people compared to our legislators and our governor who do everything they can to erase the differences in us.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you, Joyce. Amanda? You don't have a microphone unless you want to come stand over here.
I had heard, I hope that this is true, that I'm not just repeating some rumor, but I had heard that the shooter for the Pulse nightclub had originally cased out Disney World and was actually planning on attacking there to do a mass shooting for maximum, I guess, whatever kind of attention he wanted. And I know that part of the reason for that was Disney's support at the time of lesbian, gay, and, trans rights as well. So it wasn't that wasn't what was on his mind, but certainly it was just sort of a free-floating hate and a desire for attention. You know, he thought he was doing some sort of holy thing, you know, evidently insane. But it just makes me think about the way that violence in general and hatred that we all carry for whoever, whatever, it's a human capacity that we all have that seems to be on a kind of a curve, you know, for people. And that the message that I take away whenever Pulse comes up every year, I had a hairdresser friend, you know, good acquaintance, whose best friend was killed there. And just dealing, you know, watching him go through that grief process. And she was straight and cis and white and everything, you know, everything else that other people that were targeted there were not. But she died anyways, you know. And just to think about the hatred that people can carry and the idea of self-justified hate and self-justified violence, and the idea that, you know, oh, this person, well, I can be loving and kind, but not to this person over here, not to that group over there, and the way that that can take hold of people and just take over their minds and their hearts. And I think it's something, you know, that we all really have to watch in ourselves. And that's the practice for us, is to try to figure out how to be nonviolent in really deep ways with everyone. No matter, you know, whether right now everybody's, you know, anti-Muslim or they're anti-Israeli or they're, you know, whatever class of people that, you know, somebody who, I have a problem with white Trump voters in pickup trucks tailgating me, you know, and threatening me. I mean, so it's, you know, where do you draw the line with who it's okay to hate, who it's okay to be angry at, who it's okay to condemn? That's what it makes me think about.
Thank you. Calvin.
Good morning, everyone.
This is the first.
I don't normally get up here and do this because I've spent, I'd say, about 26 years of my life being afraid of being myself. I don't know if everybody knows it here, but I am trans. Now you know. This is one safe place that I've been able to actually get up in front of people and say, hey, I'm trans. How are you guys?
Yes.
So, I mean, I realize the service is really heavy today, and I know it was about a lot of deaths and everything like that, but I was just happy to skate through till I got here. And at least here, I've got a group of people that loves me, no matter what. And that's been a really hard thing to find. Thank you so much, all of you, for constantly being here for me.
Thank you, Calvin.
I'm aware that this is an announcement, but today in Bushnell from 1 to 6, there is a Pride celebration, and we will be there.
Myra?
Is that Michael?
I don't know if he meant to raise his hand or he was just pointing.
Hi, I'm getting up and standing in front of the pulpit, as I've been told to do, because
So your Zoom friends can see you.
so my Zoom friends can see me, and I think you're going to have to show my face because they won't recognize any other part of me. Hi, everybody. What struck me about the service, the thing that I really never thought of, was how other people rejecting gay people is a lot like us rejecting people who hate gay people. And that was a light bulb moment for me, and that we can find a way to see common cause with these people and figure out how to be in relationship with them. And that, yeah, mind blown.
Thank you, Myra. I guess.
All right.
Michael, did you want to speak?
Connie.
Oh, sorry.
Connie.
I just want to say that Pulse is the reason that I'm here. I attended a church for a long time, and we had a service that night, and it wasn't even mentioned. And I sat there and cried in my seat, and I stood up and said, why are we not talking about this at all? And I realized that I didn't belong there at all. Thank you for making me feel like I belong here. I love all of you, every one of you. Thank you.
Sonia's got her hand up. Sonia.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I wasn't going to say anything until I heard Calvin. But most of you know my wife and I, we have been going through the immigration process. We were referred to immigration court, and we might be at risk for going back home. We're asking for your prayers.
Oh, Sonia.
I missed that. You might what?
Might be at risk for being sent back home while they've been going through the immigration process.
Oh, I did know. I was hoping it was good news.
No, and Jamaica is homophobic, very homophobic. A lot of our Pride members have been killed, or Face of Pride in Jamaica have been killed. So we are pretty much on the worry side.
Yeah, well, so sorry.
Michael. Andrea. Michael.
Reverend Kristina, I like what you mentioned, that, there is, well, I didn't like it, but when you mentioned that there's so much hate in this world, that profoundly affected me, because the thing that I'm very, very sad about is not only that we have this hatred in this world, but we have a shallow intolerance for most people when we look at, whether we look at gay people, or we look at lesbian people, or we look at transgendered people. What we don't look at is the heart. We don't look at the caring. We don't look at the contributions that we as all humans make to society as a whole. We don't look to the intelligence. We don't look to the compassion. And we are always going to have this shameful intolerance because, we don't want to make the effort to understand. And I believe that when I came to this church, my understanding grew, my acceptance grew, my attitudes were changed. I mean, 10 years ago, when Pulse was going on, I couldn't have been in a more homophobic church. I was a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ, better known as the Mormons. And if you want to see a hateful group that, believe that, gays are going to, just the abomination of earth, and they can't make love, and they can't, do this. And here, 10 years later, I have undergone a tremendous transformation, in thought, not just in my mind, but in my heart and my soul. So the thing is, we have to get rid of this shameful intolerance, or it's going to get rid of us one day.
Thank you, Michael. Your turn.
Helene.
I'm just thinking how much is so much we versus other, and just so how much, I'm just thinking, here I am a woman, I'm othered. Here I am a lesbian, I'm othered. Here I am a Jew, I'm othered. Here I am, whatever I am. Now, according to the government, I'm othered. And I'm tired of it. And please try to think non-binary. I see so much non-binary, yet in one thing, and I'm not going to mention it, I see us as binary, and I wish we'd move from there.
Thank you. Gary.
This might sound a little nitpicky, but I'm trying. I have a cold. For years, I worked with people with developmental disabilities, and we were always very careful about the verbiage that we used in talking about our clients, our patients. And something that I've noticed is that we say a gay person, or we say, whatever, we put their label in front of their humanness. And words are important. The way you frame things, the way the way you speak goes into someone's brain, and that's how they see them. So it's important to always say that they're a person first. You're not a gay person, you're a person of the gay persuasion. Because we're human first, we're not our labels. And it sounds nitpicky, but it really does sink into people's brains and how they view others.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I find it a more complex conversation, but thank you. Our closing words come from Barbara Peskin, who writes, "Because of those who came before, we are. In spite of their failings, we believe. Because of and in spite of the horizons of their vision, we too dream. Let us go remembering to praise, to live in the moment, to love mightily, to bow to the mystery."
Now we'd like to recognize the birthdays of Roger Cooper, who's 94 today. I hope he's on Zoom. I don't know if he's there or celebrating somewhere today. And Myra Simons, who's with us here today, who's 66. If y'all would like to sing happy birthday. They used to sit together up front every year, Myra tells me. Enjoyed that together. Join us for coffee and fellowship in the back of the room until 11 o'clock. There is a sign-up sheet on the table near the bookshelves to coordinate with others who would like to go out for brunch. We share our minister with our sibling congregation in Eustis, where she will lead a second service. Reverend Kristina will be here until 10:20-ish for those who'd like to talk with her. Come and say hi. The Zoom room will stay open for 20 minutes.